What if Deku joined Team JPDE? Chapter 4. Food Wars. Sunday. Day 7. Deku was in Team JPDE's dorm room kitchen. He had just finished making his breakfast and was about to sit down when he heard a commotion coming from the main room. Deku opened the door and saw Evelyn blocking Jack from entering the kitchen. "For the last time, you're not cooking breakfast," Evelyn shouted. "Carrots, get away from that door or I swear I'll saute you," Jack shouted. "Listen, if you were just cooking for yourself, I wouldn't mind. But I won't let you poison David," Evelyn shouted. "I just want to make him something to thank him for. Why am I even discussing this with you?" "Get out of the way, already," Jack shouted. "Could the both of you please calm down?" Penny asked. Okay, time out, already," David shouted, getting their attention. "Thank you. Now, first of all, good morning. Second, are you seriously physically barring Jack's access to the kitchen?" Evelyn David asked. "Well, yes, but..." "Wait, what smells so good?" Evelyn asked. Then sniffed the air and turned towards Deku. He waved at them as his mouth was full. "What is that?" "It smells good," Jack said. Deku raised his hand and then swallowed. "It's called katsudon. It's my favorite meal. You wanna try some?" Deku asked. "Sure," Evelyn said. Deku used his chopsticks to pick up a piece of katsudon and presented it to Evelyn. She looked at it and then to Deku and then back. She opened her mouth and ate the katsudon in one go. Deku then picked up another piece and ate it. "How does it taste?" David asked. "It's good. Very good," Evelyn said. "What's it made from?" Penny asked. "It's made from rice, pork cutlets, eggs, and other ingredients. I can teach you the recipe if you want," Deku said. "I would like that," Penny said. "Now, Evelyn, why are you blocking Jack from the kitchen?" Deku asked. "I'm doing it to protect David," Evelyn said. "Holy hell, Evelyn. I need protection from food now," David asked. "No you bloody don't," Jack said. "Yes he does," Evelyn said. "Can we just be the judge of that?" Penny asked. "Capital idea, Penny. I support that motion," David said. "And I'm sure the other residents do too," Deku said. "You can't be serious. You actually want to try her cooking?" Evelyn asked. "If having a third opinion will stop this." "Yes," David said. "Ah. In your face, carrots," Jack said. "Then I'm cooking too," Evelyn said. "What?" Jack said. David said. "You'll need something to wash out the taste of death after you're finished," Evelyn said. "Oh, a cooking contest. What a nice idea," Penny said. "Fine. You're on, carrots. You, me, and the kitchen," Jack shouted. "The rest of us will be the judges," Penny said. "Don't say judges, there is no need to have any judging, is there?" David said. "Yes there is," Jack and Evelyn shouted. "The dish should be something you both know the recipe for and the pantry is stocked with ingredients for." "What about we got into the kitchen to check and let David wash up and dress?" Penny said. "Fine," Jack said. "Fine," Evelyn said. "So not fine," David said. Jack, Evelyn and Penny then entered the kitchen. "This is not what I had in mind," David said. "At least Evelyn has let Jack into the kitchen," Deku said. Deku then entered the kitchen. "So have you decided on what to make?" Deku asked. "They are going to be making pancakes," Penny said. "You're going down, carrots," Jack shouted. "Everyone will be going down after eating your pancakes," Evelyn shouted. "Down in bliss," Jack said. "Fuck off with that bullshit," Evelyn said. Evelyn and Jack then began to argue, unleashing a flurry of curses at each other. "Things seem to be off to a good start," Deku said. "Yes, it is," Penny said. "I was being sarcastic, Penny," Deku said. "But things are going right. Soon this whole thing will be over," Penny said. "If you say so. Hey, I think you should spend less time arguing, and more time making, Deku said. I can multitask, but Jack will need full concentration if she plans to make actually good food, Evelyn shouted. Of course, you can. Your brain is all over the place, Jack said. Enough with the insults. Are you two gonna start baking or am I gonna knock you two out, Deku shouted. This sudden spout of anger got Evelyn and Jack to stop arguing, and they proceeded to start making pancakes. It wasn't long however before they started cursing at each other again, but at a much lower voice level. What are we gonna do, Deku asked. Don't worry, by the end of the day this will be over, Penny said. You seem pretty sure of that, Deku said. That's because I'm 99% sure. Now let's leave them to it, Penny said. Deku sighed as he and Penny left the kitchen. Jack's and Evelyn's profanity immediately increased as they left. David had now washed up and dressed, and was now waiting in the main room. So, how are things, David asked. With Jack and Evelyn. Well, Penny said. Hey. Watch your elbow, carrots, Jack said. Why don't you give me some more space, instead, Evelyn said. Because I need the gar, Jack said as she got hit by Evelyn batter. Are you doing this on purpose, Jack asked. You're just too damn close. There's an entire kitchen, why do you have to? Hey, Evelyn said as Jack threw batter at her. My ear, you oaf on stilts, Evelyn said. What did you call me, carrot boobs, Jack asked. Oh, it's on, Evelyn shouted. Evelyn and Jack then began to throw batter at each other. Remember, if you waste all the batter you'll both lose, Deku said. It's going great. I feel they're really making some progress, Penny said. In killing each other, you mean, David asked. There's just a 0.001% chance of that happening. The most probable outcome of this that they finally express their grievances in full once and for all, Penny said. Deku then went into the bathroom. What exactly are they making, anyway, David asked. Pancakes, Penny said. Penny. We're kind of done, Evelyn said. Fantastic, Penny said. But we're could you ask David and Izuku to step outside on the balcony? We need to hit the bathroom, Jack said. Actually, Izuku has entered the bathroom. So you are gonna have to wait, Penny said. Deku then exited the bathroom with a small towel. Never mind, David said. Deku then entered the kitchen. The kitchen was a mess, there was batter all over the place and all over Jack and Evelyn. Without a word, Deku began to wipe Jack's face, and pick out clumps of batter from her hair. Look at the mess you two have made, Deku said. Evelyn started it, Jack said. No. You started it, Evelyn said. I don't want to hear it, Deku said, now moving to Evelyn. This mess is both of your faults, Deku said. Sorry, Jack said. Sorry, Izuku, Evelyn said. Deku then grabbed Evelyn's ears and started to wipe the batter off, and dig out the batter in her ears. Now I hope you can sort this out. This feud is going to get us in trouble sooner or later, Deku said. Evelyn and Jack remained silent. Now go wash up and change, Deku said. Deku then left the kitchen and went onto the balcony with David. We've really upset him, Evelyn said. What have we done, Jack asked. What needed to happen? Though I did not expect Izuku to have that reaction, Penny said. None of us did. We need to make things right, Jack said. Let's change in front of him, Evelyn said. Evelyn. For fucks. No, Jack. Calm down. Evelyn, we're not doing that, Jack said. That's for the best. I believe Izuku would freeze if you did that, Penny said. I would beg to differ. He touched my ears without even asking. Very bold of him, Evelyn said. He was cleaning you. You should be thankful, Jack said. She should you. That's why we should do my idea, Evelyn teased. Nope. I am not fighting you on this, Jack said, leaving the kitchen. Glad you agree. Let's get Deku in, Evelyn teased. Jack sighed as she entered the bathroom. You wouldn't do that, would you? Penny asked. Maybe. His or David's reaction would be amazing. Passing out formed my share sexiness, Evelyn said. After Evelyn and Jack had washed up and got changed, Deku and David came back inside. There are 3 plates with 2 pancakes on them, one is Jack's, the others is Evelyn's. Next to the plates were 3 glasses filled with milk. So, what am I testing first? David asked. You can't know that, David. There's a small chance that knowing beforehand may influence your judging. And we'll drink in between tasting to cleanse our palate, Penny said. Good thinking. We want my victory to be sure and your loss to be gracious after all, carrots, Jack said. In your dreams, Blondie. Let's get this started, Evelyn said. 1 bite each from 1 pancake. The 1 bite of the other, Penny said. Sounds like a plan, Deku said. The 3 each took a place and a glass of milk and sat at separate tables. Deku cuts the pancake on top. He stabs the piece with his fork and brings it to his mouth. He bites down. The pancake tastes good. Deku looks to the other and see they have no negative reactions. It seems Evelyn was wrong about Jack's cooking, Deku thought. Deku then grabs his glass of milk and proceeds to drink the milk. Deku cuts a piece off the bottom pancake and eats it. Though unlike before, this pancake tastes awful. I spoke too soon, Deku thought. The pancake tastes like it should, but there is something that had given the pancake its horrible taste. Deku looks around and sees that David had the same reaction, though Penny doesn't seem to be affected, which is weird. Oh goodness, are you 3 alright? Evelyn asked. Of course they are. My cooking is perfectly fine. So, who won? Jack asked. Evelyn, Penny said. And here I thought Evelyn was blunt, Deku thought. What? What do you mean she won? Jack asked. I'm 100% positive that David and Izuku agree, Penny said. That's impossible, Jack said. For the love of pancakes, Jack. Are you really that deluded? I can't believe your tongue is that far gone. You have to know how bad your cooking is. Hyperbole to the side, it's really bad, Evelyn said. But it was my mother's recipe. It's my mother's cooking. My mother always made the best meals for me and my sister, and my dad. Everything she did always tasted wonderful, Jack said. Are you sure you got the recipe right? Deku asked. Yes. I always helped her in the kitchen, she taught me how to do so many things. And I follow her recipes to a T. So, even if they taste a little different, they can't be bad, Jack said. They're not bad, Jack, Penny said. But you said, Jack said. They may have tasted bad, but that was it, Deku said. Your pancakes were actually very well made, David said. I'm confused, Evelyn said. The thing is that the looks, the texture, the cooking, they are all great. They feel like they are supposed to be good, but David said. There's this overpowering, nauseating overtaste of Deku said. Cinnamon. The pancakes were overly saturated with cinnamon, Penny said. You mean I put too much cinnamon in my dishes and that's why they all come out tasting like crap? Jack asked. I think so, yes, Penny said. But I'm sure I remember the quantities correctly, Jack said. Jack. Your family was from Vacchio, wasn't it? Evelyn asked. You know it was, Jack said. I can't believe this. It was that simple, Evelyn groaned. Evelyn then walked into the kitchen. She carefully makes her way through the kitchen and grabs a small bag. You can't be serious, Evelyn shouted. Evelyn walks back into the room holding the small bag. Smell it, Evelyn said. What? Jack asked. Now I see, Penny said. See what? What's going on? David asked. Smell it. I know you never did, Evelyn said. Jack then sniffs the contents of the bag. Ah. Carrots, what the hell? What did you put in my cinnamon? Jack asked. That is your cinnamon. Mistrali variety cinnamon, Evelyn said. Mistrali variety? Jack questioned. There are two varieties of cinnamon in Remnant, the Mistrali variety and the Vacuo variety. The first is more common in Mistral and Vale, while the latter is more common in Vacuo and Atlas, Penny said. And the Mistrali variety is about 6 times more powerful than the Vacuo one, Evelyn said. 6 times? David asked. Are you serious? Bloody hell, no wonder whatever I cooked tasted like crap. I had been blasting the poor stuff with cinnamon, Jack said. Can you realize all the bile we could have spared ourselves had I been less abrasive? Evelyn groaned. Or had I been more prone to accept criticism? Jack said. Hindsight is 20/20, Deku said. You usually are, Evelyn said. Not on family stuff, I'm not. And I'm sorry. That's not how a leader should act. Thank you, Izuku, for making me realize that, Jack said. It's okay. It's something you can work on, and hey, I doubt we're ever going to find ourselves having to deal with your family matters on missions, Evelyn said. You're right, Jack laughed. Told you there was a high chance they would work this out, Penny said. You did, Deku said. We were lucky that the problem was so simple to solve, David said. Even if the problem had been more complicated, I had the utmost confidence we could have worked through it together, Penny said. Because we're a team? David asked. Yes. I've never been in one, so I'd like to be good friends. And I'm sure they want it too. And so do you too, right? Penny said. After that speech, it would be rude to say anything but yes, Penny, David said. Hey Izuku. I'm really sorry for making you mad, Jack said. As am I, Evelyn said. It's alright. I should have kept my cool, Deku said. No. You had every right to get mad at us. We acted like children, Evelyn said. We are your seniors. We should be the ones setting an example, Jack said. Well, the best place to start anew is by clean up the kitchen, Deku said. We'll get right on that, Evelyn said. Evelyn then took off her blazer and started to undo her shirt. She had undone enough buttons to show her cleavage. Evelyn. What are you doing? Deku asked. Getting undressed to clean. Can't get my school clothes dirty, Evelyn said. But right here and now, Deku asked. Oh, you want a private show? I'll be more than happy to oblige, Evelyn teased. Deku blushed heavily. I'm going to get some food from the mess hall, Deku said. I'm gonna join you. I'm still hungry, David said. Deku and David then left the dorm room. Must you always do that? Jack asked. Yes. But seriously. We have school tomorrow and I can't get this dirty. You better do the same, Evelyn said. How have you managed to make sense while being sexual? Jack asked. It's a gift. Now strip, Evelyn said. I'm not doing that. What if they come back? Jack asked. Don't worry, Jack. I will protect you two from their eyes until you are done, Penny said. Perfect, Evelyn said. Evelyn then grabbed the bottom of Jack's blazer and shirt and pulled them up and off Jack. Soon Deku and David returned with food for everyone. Welcome back. Had a good breakfast? David, Penny asked. Yeah. We also bought some food since we are now low on ingredients, David said. Fantastic. Set them down in the kitchen. Evelyn, Jack, have you finished cleaning and are you dressed? David and Izuku have returned, Penny said. We've finished cleaning, but are we dressed? Why don't you come and find out? Evelyn said. We are. You two don't need to worry about seeing us undressed, Jack said. Moo. Why can't you let me have my fun? Evelyn asked. Deku, David and Penny then entered the kitchen. The kitchen was spotless, you wouldn't be able to tell that there was a food fight. Deku could even see his reflection on the floor. Jack was back in her uniform. Evelyn was too, but she wasn't wearing the blazer and had her shirt undone, showing her cleavage once again. Nice job, you two. You couldn't tell that you two had a food fight, Deku said. We are your senior. We have to set a good example, Jack said. Deku and Jack smiled at each other. Deku then saw the two bowls Evelyn and Jack used to mix their batter still had some left. Is this your batter, Evelyn? Deku asked. Yep. Not overfilled with cinnamon, Evelyn said. Deku then took the spoon and scooped a large clump of batter and ate it. What? There isn't enough for more pancakes, but there's still enough to eat, Deku said. Hey. I want to eat my batter too, Evelyn said. Evelyn then joined Deku in eating that batter. They quickly emptied the bowl of all the remaining batter. Evelyn then noticed that there was a piece of batter on Deku's cheek. Hold on, you got, Evelyn said, as she ate the batter straight from Deku's cheek, causing Deku to blush. Seeing this, Penny took some batter from the other bowl and put it on her cheek. Penny. You got some on your, David said. He then took his finger and wiped the batter away. Penny was a bit disappointed, but then realized. Blick. Fuck. I forgot about the cinnamon, David shouted. I'm so sorry, David, Penny said. Jack, Deku and Evelyn laughed at the scene before them. Jack then grabbed a glass and filled it with water and then gave it to David to drink. Here, Jack said. Thanks, David said, as he took the glass and drank the water. Tried to pull and Evelyn. Didn't ya, Jack whispered. Penny sadly nodded. Then I think you should ask Evelyn for help next time, Jack said. Penny nodded and looked over to Evelyn and Deku, where Evelyn was pressing her breast against Deku's chest, which showed her white bra. Deku's face was completely red. He then fell back and landed on the ground with Evelyn landing on top of him. Deku went even redder. I want David to have that kind of reaction with me, Penny said quietly. End of chapter 4.